Space Watchers. This is Space Café Radio, on tour in Berlin.
SpaceWatch is in Berlin.
Your channel about trends, great people and awesome conferences. And I'm Torsten, publisher of SpaceWatch.Global. Mid of May, the ESA Investment Forum took place in Berlin. During the event, I had the opportunity to talk with ESA Director of Telecommunication and Integrated Services, Elodie Viau, about startups in Germany, 5G, 6G, and mobility and space. You gave a keynote here at the ESA Investment Forum yesterday. So why do we need this kind of format? And why Berlin?
Okay, thank you very much. So first, Berlin is because, of course, SpaceWatch is in Berlin. No, jokes aside, it was also because Berlin is very active. We had the presence of the government, so that Anna Christman came over and be able to participate to this condo of two events that we did, the automotive event and also the ESA Investor Forum that happened here. We have a brilliant network in Germany of 350 startups that have been created thanks to the various business incubator center of ESA that has been open. We had organized this event with the participation of our business incubation center of Bavarian. And so therefore we had really wanted to go in Berlin and show what was happening across Germany to trigger also the rise of startup here locally. Really, it's about to be where the action is locally with the startup, helping them to pitch and to trigger investment. So thanks to our ESA Space Solution Network, we are achieving that all across Europe. And this was a great opportunity to have it in Berlin. And we are doing more than 8 years right now in various cities.
What are the current key topics you and your department follows?
Thank you very much for the question. So the key topics for the telecommunication and integrated application are first everything that is around the 5G and 6G. So we have those networks that are deployed, creating the opportunity for new application like telemedicine, agri-tech, the new mobility application. So there is a full set of applications that is triggered by 5G and 6G rollout. We have looking at also optical communication, which is basically using laser in space that build the same than the fiber optics that is on Earth. And we are looking also at developing a set of constellation or space system to boost the resilience and the safety and the security done on Earth. Finally, a bit more inspirational and exotic, we are looking at the topic of bringing connectivity and navigation around the moon through our program Moonlight. So to develop the lunar economy and when the astronaut will be there to stay connected with Earth.
Oh, I'm a big fan already of Moonlight because due to my own history. When you talk about lasers, is it laser connectivity in space, satellite to satellite, or space to Earth?
Alors, this time we are looking towards proposing at the next ministerial, which is where we are getting support from the public ministry of all the 22 countries. We are looking for a laser between satellite, but back to Earth as well. So a fully network in space, like a fiber network in space, very dynamic, very agile, to bring back the information at the right location at the right moment and in a secure way.
You talked about mobility, connected cars, I think. So why is connectivity so strategic also for the automotive industry?
So it's very strategic for the automotive industry for 3 aspects. First, it brings a full coverage. For example, now you have more and more connectivity that are getting into the car. There is some systems that are deployed through the main axis, like the motorway. But then when you reach a rural area, you still want to get those services and this connectivity. So the satellite can bring this perspective to be connected everywhere. Secondly, it brings an element of safety. The vehicles are becoming more and more autonomous. Therefore, we need to also bring additional capability to get the data on board and to make the vehicles more safe and the maintenance of this vehicle to check the health of the various type of vehicles anywhere. And finally, the third element is to enhance the user experience. So today we are starting to have some more and more the vehicle where you do everything else inside than driving, thanks to the vehicle becoming more autonomous. And therefore, the user experience and the new set applications that can happen on board the vehicle is much bigger and will trigger a need for connectivity and higher throughput.
So what else than driving in a car can you do? Are you envision it really as an entertainment place?
Yes, but I'm a driver that also likes to do being a passenger and to do other things. So yeah, there is a typical activities that are already starting to mature today, like music or video streaming. But you can let your imagination take place for future application that could be like even more consuming of data, like the gaming or entertainment, but also having a critical application. For example, capability to have a parameter, health parameter, or also connection to medical center, or having different set of applications. So today, and it's a bit like at the creation of internet, we don't really know which application will take up first and how much it will unlock. But what we know is that it will unlock a set of applications. So yesterday, we had, in parallel of the Investor Forum, another event with all the automotive players, and they were already letting their imagination running, and they were even talking about metaverse within the car, and doing video conferencing or doing different type of applications. So this imagination will be the boundary of those new services.
Cool. Coming back to the topic, what are the challenges to deliver these appropriate level of connectivity, what is needed for the applications in a car you just mentioned?
So out of all the discussion that we are currently having with the various actors of the ecosystem, we see three main challenges emerging. The first one is that we need seamless connectivity. So as a user, you could care less if you are using the terrestrial network or the space network. Those networks will become complementary and actually helping each other for resilience, for example, or to have a trust in the data that you will use. So that's really, you need to be evolving in an environment where the connectivity is completely integrated between space and terrestrial, and this is a challenge. We have recently the first standardization with the 3GPP release 17 that is integrating already some element of space into terrestrial, and that will need to be reinforced. So the use case need to be taken into account from the beginning for those standards. Then the second challenge that we can see is the cost. It should not increase too much the cost for the competitiveness of our automotive industry. And then finally, we try to align all those actors because we are in Europe, very segregated and dispersed ecosystems, the car industry, the space industry, also the chipset industries that are needed for the electronic, making the integration into the car. So we need to bring all those actors together, and that's where ESA, the European Space Agency, we are acting again as a facilitator, knowing space and knowing the user application. So that's why telecom and integrated application is taking its full scale when we are bringing all those actors together to co-develop.
These initiatives, connected car, at the moment is a vision on the horizon. Will that area, connected cars or mobility, part of the secure connectivity initiative?
Alors yes, because the Secure Connectivity Initiative is first having the first target of having a governmental infrastructure for governmental services, but it's also having ambition to allow the private actors to develop commercial services. And this type of sustainable mobility, here we are talking about cars, but it's broader than that. It can be all type of vehicle, airplane, train, and in the future, the flying vehicles that are under development, that will be part of the commercial services. Of course, it will be not the only focus of those commercial services, but it's one element. And there is a need for a certain level of public investment together with the private in order to develop the technology that are needed at a faster pace. We need to accelerate the use of space in Europe for our citizens.
What I haven't heard is that connected car will be part of the Secure Connect initiative. What will be then the platform you run the services on? Is there something on the horizon?
Alors, the platform that it will run on has to be defined by the private actor as it's a commercial services. So it could be one or multiple. but he can use the infrastructure, the constellation or the satellite that will be developed in the context of the Secure Connectivity Initiative, if I may explain a bit better. And also the additional added value of having those initiatives is, of course, to address two problematic. First, the climate challenge, because by developing those type of sustainable mobility, you are addressing and developing and encouraging the use of more environmental friendly vehicles that are autonomous, that are also not using fuel but going electrical. We are going to a step of optimizing. For the airplane, you are optimizing the trajectory, for example, reducing the consumption of fuel again. So you are helping the other industry to reach their decarbonization goals.
What can ESA do in that area? Or what is ESA's role here? Are you then the facilitator, the R&D center? You're not the operator, obviously.
For sure, not the operator. So we have a multiple role. First, we have to create awareness within our public institutions. So there is a ministerial coming up in November. So one of our key roles is to be able to trigger our minister and our member states to understand that space, together with other non-space sector, can bring additional solution to solve the biggest problem of tomorrow. So, and to trigger financing, because we need financing, as you said, of the innovation, the research and development that needs to be going very quick. And therefore, we are also, as you said, a lab. So we have a 5G 6G lab where we can test the capability of a space system together with the application developing the user terminal antennas. You don't want an ugly antenna in your car. It needs to be completely invisible. So we can work with the automotive industry to develop those type of antennas that are compatible with the space system. We can work with the space system providers as a space satellite manufacturer or the operator to really understand what are the needs and which system can be put in place. So it's along the value chain. So we are acting as a federator, a coordinator of activities and pushing the innovation as quickly as possible because those innovation cycles are much shorter nowadays. But is there a need in order to keep the pace of the world, because those innovations are happening somewhere else worldwide, in order to keep Europe in the race, we need to have some public financing that go together with private co-financing. And that's where ESA has also the role of doing the bridge and getting those financing through our member states.
Great. And a great call for the ministerial as well. So it's always a question of why is telecommunication more important than astronauts?
I don't think we are more important. We are very complementary because, for example, when our astronauts will reach the moon, we want still to connect with them to know what's going on.
What are your takeaways from these 2 days here in Berlin, besides it is an absolute awesome city?
Yes, this is an absolute awesome city. The weather was very great. My takeaway from the first event on the automotive, I was very pleased to see in the room really actors from the two sectors, automotive space, but also actors like Bosch, for example, or integrators and chipset. So there was really the full value chain that get together, all talking about the fact that nowadays, thanks to the standardization of the 3GPP, we can go ahead and start developing true application, space and automotive together. So that was my first takeaway. My second takeaway for the ESA Investor Forum, I was very impressed to see the vibrant ecosystem of investors that are looking for new startup, new unicorn, but also having also startups and more mature players that still want to get attracting investors. So this matchmaking is really happening here. So that's a forum that is opened by the ESA Investor Forum. Really, this platform of matchmaking is working. It's growing, and I think we will just keep going. So I think Berlin event was one of the very active, very dynamic. Of course, there was a social event and networking to not be neglected that was really great in a very good mood.
Seeing real people again.
Yes, that makes so much difference in making innovation moving forward.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
If you want to stay on the pulse of space, visit our website, our mothership at SpaceWatch.Global and subscribe to our newsletters. But of course, don't forget to become a Space Watcher. I'm Thorsten Grüning, CEO and publisher of SpaceWatch.Global, your independent perspective of space.